2, 1. Hello everyone, welcome to the AF1 Season 10 Round 1, the season opener here in ARC. I am very excited. I am here with my co-commentator, Riker. I almost forgot your name, but I remembered it.
It's a very European name. I think it's Dutch.
Okay. Well, we are here in Bahrain for round 1 of 17, I believe, of this AF1 calendar. I will be your... I don't know if I said my name yet. I am Branch, your head commentator. Riker's my co-commentator, as I already mentioned. And we are here to provide you with, hopefully, some dialogue into what will hopefully be a very fantastic season for us. As I mentioned, 17 races. This is the first one. Season 10 as well. That's a big milestone. It's my first season in ARC, but as you mentioned earlier, you were one of the longest tenured members of this league, so I guess I'll ask you, what is it like to see this get to its 10th season?
I've been here since season 2, and honestly, when I joined in, I decided I was going to kill some time. I didn't think this would turn into a 5-year occupation for me, but yeah, season 10, I've had championships in 2 of them, not in Formula 1, being GTE is... I just watched one of the Mercedes drivers hit a curb and spin. Not a good start, Liam.
Well,
yeah, no, I mean, I don't put a whole lot of effort into the league. If anybody's the one that's going to be super pleased about the milestone, it's just going to be AJ himself.
Yeah, well, either way, I'm pretty excited. We have the Red Bull of... Oh, hold on. I need to pull up the names again. 1 second. So we have the Red Bull of... Gabe Cazola leading?
No.
Oh,
he's
that
the
is...
one in the pits.
That's Ethan.
Fonseca
Okay.
is the one. He's about to begin his lap.
Alright, so I will take you guys through a lap of the Bahrain GP, following on board with Ethan. He's headed down into turn 1, a very heavy braking zone, right-hander right here. Avoid the curb there. It's going to bounce your car. You don't want that. Then another slick corner right here, almost loses the back end. He's on medium tires, so not to be expected. Down the DRS straight, second DRS straight of the lap. Into another heavy braking zone, yet another right-hander. Once again, avoid this curb as well, because that one's even more dangerous than the one in turn 1. As we continue down into the treacherous turn 6, turn 7 chicane right here. Careful this outside curb, you could lose the car, end up in the wall. Yet another heavy braking zone into another left-hander where you need to avoid the curb once again. And then we come into turn 10 and 11, the most difficult set of corners in the game in my opinion. Heavy braking, turning while you're braking. He does it pretty well though, gets on the DRS, heads down this backstretch right here, the longest straight on the circuit. Or maybe it's the second longest, I think I'm wrong about that. Into...
No, it's definitely not the longest straight, that's the front straight.
My bad. Going through turn 13, now very treacherous. That's definitely a curve you don't want to avoid, or you want to avoid, excuse me.
I don't think there's a single curb on this track that you want to hit.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, now I think about it. Here we go down the straight into the last final corner. As we mentioned, don't touch that curb. Heavy on the power, goes a little bit wide, probably going to lose a lap. Didn't end up losing it, but he did lose a lot of time, and that is 1 lap of the Bahrain GP, a 1:27.8. We'll definitely see him improve on that later on. But, there we are. And right after that, Cameron Dowd's dropping a 1:26.8, almost an exact second faster. His teammate coming in with a 1:27.3. So the Alpine's on top quickly here. The Ferrari of Charlie up into 5th with a 1:27.5.
When there's Lee Kelly and Christian Pacheco sliding themselves in between the Alpine drivers. Tim Angelo, 5th on the board. He and Pacheco are on soft tires, as is Tristan Adams. Williams, who goes with 26.4 on soft tires.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, this is one of those tracks where the 1 stop is absolutely stronger than the 2 stop, so qualifying on medium tires at this track, probably more than any other on the calendar, is very, very vital to a strong race strategy. So we will get to see who is able to qualify in the top 10 on those medium tires, if anyone is able to. Yeah, that'll play into this race strategy just a little bit.
Ooh, and Chicken Nickel had a moment on that turn 7 curb. He's having
Oh,
a bit of fun with the barriers on the outside of the turn.
See that we have some styrofoam barriers that are pretty destroyed at this point. Marshals will be out to clean that up in just a second.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they won't. But it's nice to pretend.
Roleplay in an F1 commentary.
Yeah. Oh, we got 3 drivers coming into the pits at the exact same time. That was dangerous. But looks like the first round of laps are pretty much over. Oh, I think we got the AlphaTauri of Spin and Win, aka
Matthew Stotts.
Matthew Stotts. Thank you. I do apologize. We are trying to go by real names instead of the in-game names. I don't know their real names very well, but Riker does, so he is going to help me out with that through this race, so I don't mess people's names up.
Yeah, there are no debuting drivers in the field except for this NLR Reigns guide. I was not made aware he'd be here. Everybody else here has run an AF1 race in the past, so I would know all their names because I was the head commentator of the series last season. So,
well, there you go.
You're the one who replaced me. No.
Ooh,
you must like to get a job in this economy.
Ooh, so this is Xander Zaldel, I believe, in the AlphaTauri. Oh no, there's 2 AlphaTauris. Oh, this must be a reserve driver then.
Yeah, Matthew Stotts is the reserve. The
thank you.
actual AlphaTauri is... hang on. I can't... Which one's the AlphaTauri? There's too many similar icons.
JN
only one
Cisco.
AlphaTauri. Oh,
I
Braden
believe.
Cisco.
Yeah.
I'm blind, apparently. Oh, because he's out of the race, that's why I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Or race. So that, you know.
Out of qualifying. I'm not really sure when that happened. It must have happened really early on, because I didn't even notice it until just now. We have a Red Bull off in Sector 3. Looks like Yoster, which would be...
Gabe Cazzola.
Gabe Cazzola. Ooh, I was almost there in time.
Gotta be quicker than that.
So, just around here, this is just one of the more dull moments in the qualifying is everyone's either on their out lap or getting ready to start their lap. There goes AJ on his 3rd attempt on these mediums, hopping himself up into 10th place, but I guarantee he's going to want a better lap than that.
Yes. Cazzola abandons his lap time.
Let's see. So
Begin to see the next round of the out laps are beginning.
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of people who were on mediums to start have chosen to go on to the softs on their 2nd run. Interestingly enough, it looks like Sir Capalot is one of the people who has chosen not to do that. He is on his worn mediums, 1 lap worn medium, so not too bad for him, and we'll stay on board with him for a bit.
There would be Ethan Fonseca again.
Fonseca.
One who
Thank you.
ran the first lap of the section.
Yeah, I've said his name and then I realized I forgot to say his name.
Yeah, all the top 5 cars are on their out laps at this moment, so in about a minute and a half from now, we'll be having another contest for a provisional pole.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see when all those drivers are out on track who's able to pick up the time fastest. You know, it just continues to change throughout these qualifying sessions.
And you never know who's made a mistake and who's trying to play the dark horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody like, well, I think even Fonseca himself, he's trying to hold himself back on the medium tires, but I guarantee you, if and when he goes on to soft tires, he's going to be up there at that battle for pole.
Well, it will be interesting. You know, we always enjoy close, tight racing here at ARC. So it's.
I just say ARC, by the way.
ARC, thank you. That makes much more sense now that you say it. I don't know why I didn't think of that before.
Because it's always like PSGL and NHRL, and
yeah,
it's not NHRL, but
NHRL.
This is a convenient acronym because it actually is a word.
Yeah, and it's a pretty. I like Auto Racing Connected. That's a great name. There we go. As Charlie Congdon picks up provisional
Congdon.
pole there with a 126.2 in the Ferrari, my favorite car. Love the Ferrari. And here we go. I
This is
restart.
probably a bit of an unusual one, but my favorite's actually the AlphaTauri.
You know what? That's not super unusual. I do like the AlphaTauri, and you know, Gasly is obviously a fantastic driver in my opinion. So he's
I'm a
leading that
Honda
team.
guy,
Ah,
and I'm also just like an all-around weeb, so I like things that are Japanese. That's
okay.
why Suzuka is my favorite track on the game.
As we're talking about that, the Alpine of Mikey De Jong is going to pick up the provisional pole now with a 126.0. Very close to cracking into those 125s. Not quite yet, though.
We still have a... I think Pacheco, he already finished his lap. So, Lee Kelly is about to complete his next one, and that's going to be a 25.81 for the Aston Martin driver. So he goes to the top.
So the first driver to crack into the 125.8s, and there you go. Right after him, Cameron Dowds picks up a 125.7, just continually grabbing
Leapfrog.
bits and pieces of time out of each other's laps.
Don't look now, but Tristan Adams just ran a purple sector too, and he's about to head towards the line. The Williams driver that's in the last turn.
So we'll follow through with him as he crosses the line, expecting at least to jump up a little bit, and there he goes up one spot into a 126.1, so must have struggled a little bit there at the end of the lap. Nonetheless, though, he's up
start of the lap.
into 4th place, just behind the men in the podium positions.
There's Jonathan Parker making his first appearance on the timing sheet, 26.49.
Solid.
He's another one that I kind of expect to pull out something on his final run.
Yeah, you know, we don't know how many of these guys are quote-unquote sandbagging, just trying to make it look like they're not as fast as they actually are. Unfortunately, whenever I'm slow, it's never sandbagging. It's just...
Well, I can usually take a guess, or just cars that haven't made a lap at all yet.
Yeah.
The singular McLaren of Francis Ferrand is usually has run a lap by now, and he's usually somewhere in the upper mid pack or front pack, depending on where the Grand Prix is taking place.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna follow through with Gabe Cazzola as he finishes lap, but he dives into the pit, so he is still one of 3 drivers still in this session yet to put a lap in. The others being McLaren and the Alfa Romeo, I believe that is.
I think it is. Can't be a Ferrari because there's already 2 of them.
Yep.
Process of elimination.
I think you said NLR Reigns is a new person, so I do not know what his name is.
Yeah, you mentioned Xander Zeidel. That wouldn't be his first race. This may just be an alternate account, and that is why I didn't recognize it, if that is who that is.
Alright. So, lots of drivers in the pits at the moment. We have Liam in the Mercedes, who is out on fresh mediums, trying to set a new lap. And he's 6/10 under his time, so that's at least gonna put him, I think, 1 position ahead of the Haas, but maybe he'll be able to gain some seconds in this final sector, heading into the final corner here as we are on board. Past
He's
DRS.
even a little more than that.
And there he goes, up 2 positions into 7th on those mediums, the highest medium runner. In fact, he's the only person to set a lap on their fastest lap on the mediums. Excuse me. We have the McLaren. Once again, I need to pull up his name.
That's Francis Ferrand, just about to begin his first hot lap,
Yep, there he
only
is.
hot lap.
So with about 4 minutes left, yeah, I would expect that maybe he's trying to run a 2-lap stint, which would make sense on mediums, but either way, he's probably only going to get, at best, 2 laps in. Oh, almost lost it, and they did lose it into the wall! Amazing he didn't...
Too early on the gas, and he got a bit of a jump scare.
So that is probably the end of his session, unless he's able to get in time to fix that damage, but unfortunately for him...
I don't think he is.
Yeah, it looks like that may have been the only chance he had at a good lap. And it spoiled Nikita Mazepin style, and luckily for him, he did not end his session there, but I don't think it would matter necessarily either way. So, looking around, AJ I think is on a fast lap at the moment. No, he's not. Ferrari of Luke Trailer behind the Haas of Chemical Ninja, trying to pick up a slipstream, almost ran into him as the Haas was trying to get out of his way, and he was trying to pick up the toe. So he heads into the last corner.
Anyway.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Thank you.
You have all the little like telemetry and stuff on screen.
Yeah, I actually do have it pulled up. I just forgot to look at it. But here we are with.
So which Romeo is not Xander. Is in the Discord message listed 2 NLR drivers and Xander as separate entities. So I do not know who this is. We have better internet the NLR drivers from the last race had.
I guess
the
for now
the mystery Alfa Romeo driver is about to get his next lap running.
Yeah, we'll just call him the mystery Alfa Romeo driver until someone in the chat possibly is able to tell us his name. Until then, he would just be the mystery Alfa Romeo driver. Here we go. 2 minutes left in the session. We are just about getting ready to see a flurry of laps right at the end of this session. We already have 4 drivers who have exited the session, some on their own, some not necessarily choosing to exit on their own.
The first of those flurry of laps comes from Ethan Fonseca, who jumps to 3rd with a 25.97.
There he is. So that's up into a podium position right there. But he will probably be under pressure by the people behind him, as he is not that much farther ahead from 4th, 5th, or 6th necessarily.
He's already played his hand, so
yeah, just may have been a little bit too early, unless he's planning on maybe doing a cooldown lap and then another fast lap at the very end here. But that would take a lot of tire saving, and I don't think you'd want to start. I don't think you really want to start on softs necessarily, but definitely not on softs that are 2 laps old, 2 qualifying laps old at that.
Yeah, no.
So we've got Tristan Adams in the Williams going through right now, currently in 5th place with a 126.1. Going through Sector 2 now. Through that tricky turn 10, down the DRS straight. Flag in Sector 1 and Sector 3. Luckily for these drivers, they don't have to necessarily abide by the yellow flag rules that normal F1 does, because there's no safety precautions involved with that.
Gabe Gasol ran his 26.88 and he is out of there.
But yeah, many drivers have already decided to ride. There goes Cameron Dowd, improving on his time by 0.2 there with a 125.6. So these drivers have a long way to catch up if they want to catch up to him right there. So Tristan Adams crossing the line now. He will put in a 126.0. That'll put him up into 4th place for the time being. The session is ending right now. So any lap that is not completed will be completed, and then that will be the end of our session. We're watching Lee Kelly now in the Aston Martin as he's going through Sector 3. He's in 2nd place currently. Could he possibly take...
and the Alpine's about to finish his lap. He's not going to improve by enough to gain a spot, though. Does Lee Kelly have an answer for that Alpine driver? He does not.
Not. Just about a 10th off right there. Cameron Dowd showing some solid pace right there, but Lee Kelly not too far off, but not necessarily close enough. So we do actually have Ethan Fonseca going on another fast lap, I believe, on these soft tires. And yeah, he is just about a 10th under his time right now. It wouldn't be enough to improve a position, and he's just invalidated as I was watching him. Charlie Congdon, the Ferrari, moves up into P4. I think the only driver left on a fast lap would be this Alfa Romeo, and there he goes into 13th place on the medium tires. Not quick enough to put him up in the top 10, so he'll probably end up starting on mediums anyways. But I believe this is going to be your grid order for this race.
Yeah, there's nobody left on the track that can change their position. Just waiting for Dowd to drive around the finish line one more time.
Here he comes around the last corner. As soon as he's in, I believe this session will end and we can get going with the race. 36 laps, I believe, of Bahrain.
29.
29, thank you.
And there we are.
Okay, so Riker, would you be so kind as to take us through the grid order once it pops up for us?
I usually save that for the formation lap. There's not enough time to get through all of it in the this little screen.
You know what? You were absolutely right about that. I don't know why I
You
ever
get
tried.
30 seconds.
Listen, I've done it before, but it is definitely a struggle to get through it. So, I agree with you there.
Yeah, I get like 2.5, sometimes 3 minutes in a formation lap. It's not like there's anything else going on.
I don't know,
Plus, I
man.
can show each individual car on screen as I name them off.
Those formation laps, they're pretty intense.
I mean, I've seen some shenanigans on them for sure in the past.
Mm-hmm.
For better or for worse.
You're just loading in right now. Do you have any predictions for this race? Just like general predictions for this round one?
I'm not really much of a predictor.
Hey, so do you think we'll see a safety car today?
Oh, well, I can safely predict we're going to have at least one.
Yeah. That's probably a pretty safe prediction. In all of my time commentating on F1 2021 league races, I think I've only ever had one race that didn't have at least one safety car in it, so definitely expecting at least one.
I'm not even sure if I've even had one race that didn't have one.
Go drivers have selected their setups, and we are off with the formation lap. Cameron Dowd's picking up the first pole position of the season, and I will let you take away with the grid.
So, the front row is comprised of Cameron Dowds in the Alpine and Lee Kelly in the Aston Martin, followed by Ethan Fonseca in the Red Bull, Charlie Congdon in the Ferrari, Tristan Adams in the Williams, the other Alpine of Mikey De Jong in P6. Row 4 lockout for the two Haas cars, Christian Pacheco and Johnny Parker. Starting 9th will be Liam Angelo. Starting 10th, Crabtree, who's subbing for one of the two Williams drivers. I think he's the only reserve in the race, though. No, Matthew Stotts is. AJ Knickel starts 11th. Gabe Cazzola starting P12. The mystery Alfa Romeo driver starting P13. Luke Treloar and the other Ferrari, P14. Matthew Stotts and one of the two AlphaTauris. I don't remember who he's subbing for, but he is P15. Actually, no, he and Cisco both are substitute drivers. So AlphaTauri is just completely absent. Francis Ferrand, who could not make a qualifying lap, starts P16, and Braden Cisco, also subbing from F2, rounds out the grid.
Alright, thank you. So we are just going through Sector 2 and Sector 3 right now, waiting for these drivers to get on the grid. We haven't gotten all the way through the lap yet, but so far no one has disqualified themselves from the formation lap.
Yeah, that used to be all the rage, but most of the league's gotten better with that now.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Oh, and as
Never
a
mind.
commentator curse, I should have known. I should have known, man. I do it all the time. I do it all. I say
That's
something.
why I said
and
most
then
of the
opposite
league, because I didn't want to count out the people that I know sometimes messed it up, and then someone messed it up.
Well, here we go. Drivers are ghosting, so that means the AI has taken over their cars to put them on the grid. So they will file in. I will keep an eye on the front of the grid. If you could keep an eye on the back of the grid, see if there's any incidents that happen back there.
I put the put the camera on AJ Nickel for my point of view. My point of view. There we go. That's how the English language works. Me.
3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are off with round 1 of the Bahrain GP. And it looks like Cameron Dowd got an amazing start there, already pulling away from the field. And it looks like he is going to be very easily leading into turn 1. Lee Kelly down the inside.
And both Haas drivers AJ Nickel slammed into by one of said Haas drivers. And a second time, and he has been squeezed up the circuit, and he is around.
Falling down the timing sheet right there, and he is not going to be happy about that. Just 2 corners into this season, he is already on the back foot. So far, it's looking like
bounces off the inside curb of Ford and slams into Crabtree. And everything else seemed pretty calm at the front compared to what I saw.
Yeah, it was pretty calm
like
at the front.
Wreckfest.
Cameron Dowd's got a pretty good start. Lee Kelly didn't really follow him all that well, but was able to keep the position. I don't think there were any positions that moved in the top 5. So that's where we are. And Cameron Dowd is already starting to pull away 7/10 away from Lee Kelly right now. We'll get some
Treelor versus Cazzola going towards 11. Through the sneaky maneuver, the Ferrari will make that pass for 11th. The Mystery Alfa Romeo driver actually had a decent start. He's up to 10th position.
And we'll take a look at position changes, and as you mentioned, he is 3 positions up. We have a flag in Sector 3. It looks like an AlphaTauri is going to be off the circuit. No need for a safety car on that one, though. There's Dowd setting the fastest lap, which will almost definitely be changed at some point. There we are, 1 lap down of this season. Fairly clean, aside from the 2 mistakes that we had already with AJ Knickel and Matthew Stotts. AJ is going to be in the pits, I assume, to fix damage. We'll see what he decides. He's going to go on to medium tires, so probably going for at least 1 more stop in this race.
Yeah, Hards wouldn't get 28 laps even if he wanted them to. I thought that would be a good idea anyway.
That would be an unprecedented level of tire saving. I don't think even Checo would be able to do that.
I think 23 is like the maximum that you could go and not look like a clown.
Yeah, just about. I mean, you know, it's with the way the tires work in this, it's really difficult to do a soft to hard stint without at least one of those stints ending with some pretty bad lap times. So that's why the medium tires on the start are so crucial for some people. And Liam in the Mercedes is the only one in the top 10 who was able to get that. Although the mystery Alfa Romeo driver now, who started on those medium tires, was able to jump himself up in the 10th. So he's in a fairly good spot along with Liam right now. So
and then seems spread about right now, but DRS is about to turn on, and things are going to go a little bit haywire from here.
Yeah, I would expect that.
It's going to go to a ballroom blitz real quick.
Expect that. We have the Williams and an Alpine. Oh, the Alpine down the
inside.
inside.
Not waiting. He's just going to go for it now.
And there's the move right there. But he may. Oh, he's going to get DRS down this straight as well. So great move by him, as the man behind him did not get DRS, and he's now under pressure from the Ferrari of Charlie Congdon. They're going to go into turn 3 side by side, and Charlie Congdon will take the position from him. So, unfortunately, for that Williams driver, Tristan Adams. Who we disconnected?
Francis friend, the McLaren.
So hopefully we'll be able to get him back pretty soon. He's down in 14th place, but the Williams of Tristan Adams losing 2 spots in a matter of 3 corners there. Can't be very happy about that, but he may have a chance here with DRS to get it back. Up and down the field.
Not really.
Not too many battles going on at the moment. Everyone's pretty close to each other.
It all kicks off down the main straight.
Yeah. Just a little bit of a DRS train at the moment, but once we get to that front stretch, we will start to see some movement going on. That is the main place to make an overtake on this track, although there are very many overtaking spots, but that is the one that is easily the best one to do. So, we come around in this
1
final
and 4
corner.
are the obvious ones. 8 in the final corner can work. And 10 or 11 if you're a maniac.
Lee Kelly into turn 1 will take the lead for the time being. Cameron Dowds is right on the back of him, though, not giving him any room, and it looks like Cameron Dowds will get DRS going down this second straight and will likely take the position back. Even before the braking zone, he is already back into first place. Good battle going on as Lee
gets caught lacking. He retires from the session following the speeding penalty into the pits.
So we have our first retirement of the season there. The AlphaTauri, unfortunately for him. But I gotta say, so far we're only 3.5 laps into this, but this battle for the lead is looking pretty strong at the moment. As Ethan Fonseca in the Red Bull has started to catch up to these guys and is now pressuring just a bit. We'll see if Lee Kelly is able to make yet another move going into this turn 10.
Thought about it, but he wasn't close enough to make it into 11.
Showed himself in the mirrors, but decided it was better to wait. And probably a good decision there.
Give a little push notification.
Yeah. You know, just 4 laps into this 29 lap race, you know, the cliche saying, you can't win it on lap 1, but you can absolutely lose it. And the same applies for lap 4. As we have a flag in sector 2, that is
Speaking of losing it, AJ Knickel around probably the turn 7 curbs claim a victim.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. He is already pretty far back as we have a 3-way battle going into turn 1 here. Side by side by side.
Towards 1. Dowd has been absolutely mugged. And Fonseca from 3rd is going to end up the victor here. So and he got another DRS zone.
It's great traction contact between Cameron Dowds and Lee Kelly. They both have DRS. Falling in behind Ethan Fonseca, but I believe Ethan Fonseca will hang on to first. But it's a battle for 2nd and 3rd here as Lee Kelly is just a little bit ahead, pushing the Alpine wide, staying on the track. They're still side by side going into turn 6 and 7. This cannot work going through here. And the Alpine is still ahead, but Lee Kelly takes the position. Amazing battle right there. Both drivers giving themselves just enough room, but Lee Kelly coming out on top for the time being. And wow, I'm trying to pay attention to the whole field, but this battle for the front is just too exciting at the moment to look away from.
We actually have a battle into turn 10. Parker actually did the maniac thing and passed through turn 10 on Luke Treelor.
Well, you know, if the move works, can't fault him for it.
Yeah, you only get yelled at if you miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only a bad move if it didn't work. So we got the Ferrari of Luke Trailer following the Haas, looking to get into the points positions.
Treelor,
thank you.
I was like Pokemon names. That's what I always think of when I say that.
Alright, so this lap looking fairly tame in terms of battling, at least going into turn 1, but the top 5 are now right next to each other. This is getting very interesting here. We haven't seen
a blanket scenario.
Yeah, we haven't seen any penalties aside from the AlphaTauri who got the speeding penalty, and he is already retired. So everyone that's on the track currently not with a penalty. AJ Knickel, I didn't even notice, has pit for hard tires, so he is probably going to try to go to the end of the race on those tires. You mentioned 23 laps, and that's about how long he's going to have to go to finish the race on those tires.
I'm a messiah. I also did a simulation GP before this, and that's how I worked out different tire wear rate percentages and stuff. And also no aggregate race pace data. Of course, it's a little bit skewered because I'm not exactly AF1 pace. I'm maybe mid-tier AF3 pace nowadays.
Yeah, but you know, either way, the tires tend to wear pretty much the same. As long as you're keeping it on the track and not sliding too much, the tires tend to keep... I saw
the mystery Alfa Romeo driver make a bit of a touring car overtake going into 11 on Pacheco, the Haas driver.
He's having a great race right now. On those medium tires, they're starting to liven up for him a little bit. He's up into 8th position. That's going to give him 5 spots up. He is the biggest gainer so far of this race. So we may not know his name, but...
The only other one that's making even a little bit of pace with him in that regard is Luke Treelor, who's up a few.
And both of them up into the points positions after starting in the bottom, outside the top 10. So good for them, and that will obviously put them in good position in terms of tires, although...
Congdon sends it on the outside of Alpine, of Mikey De Jong of Alpine, but there's just no chance of that, not to there.
Flag in Sector 1, it looks like a Red Bull.
Dave Gazzola around through 1. So could have been the curb, or it could have been contact, who knows for sure.
It looked like there may have been drivers next to him on track, so it's possible there was some contact there, but we can't say for sure as we were not watching it. We have our eyes set on the front of the field as, you know, these three at the front are really are staying close to each other, you know. Lee Kelly in 2nd place, Cameron Dowds in 3rd place, and the Red Bull of Ethan Fonseca. There we go. And they're starting to pull away just a little bit. Mikey De Jong is just barely hanging on to DRS at the moment. But as soon as he falls out of that, I assume this top 3 will start to pull away from the rest of the field. We have a flag in Sector 2/3 right on the line there.
Crabtree has been claimed by turn 12. I can only assume it was that curb, but you don't want to hit.
It absolutely had to have been the auto spin, as they tend to call it.
Oh yeah, you can't do anything. You just sit back. He gets a nonsense 10-second penalty for trying to turn the car around.
Yeah, I believe that will almost definitely be taken away by the stewards at the end of this race. Because you cannot get penalties for spinning.
As one of the stewards, I'm going to make sure of it. There's a bad exit out of 1 for Congdon allows Liam Angelo to improve his position 5th.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the highest medium tire runner up into 5th now, so he is in a fantastic position. As we mentioned, the medium tires are starting to work a little bit for those who are on them, and same goes for
I
Liam.
didn't mention that, you did.
What's up?
I didn't mention that, you did.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so I haven't had very many overtakes aside from Liam on Charlie Congdon just a second ago. It's been more of just keep your tires cool, make sure. Oh, as we say that, I saw someone spinning off the track. I can't see who it was just quite yet.
It was Fonseca spun around.
Oh no!
They probably hit the auto spin.
And just like that, one mistake, and he is down into 11th place. I can't see if he has damage or not. It doesn't look like he does, at least visually. He may have some performance impacting that we can't see. But unfortunately for him, that means he is going to be losing that position. Liam now up into 4th place.
And Angelo getting a little funky going towards 1. And try for a cutback. Nope, car could not get the rotation for that. He'll just try to make it to 4 instead.
And that was great defending there by Mikey DeJong to put his car exactly where it needed to be to not get past. And that is great. I'm going to say that's great defending by the Alpine there. He really, you could tell he was not necessarily on his best foot going into turn 1, but he was able to keep the car in front. And he stays in the podium position for the time being behind his teammate Cameron Dowds, who is still pressuring Lee Kelly. And at this point, with Lee Kelly not having DRS, we could see him getting overtaken pretty soon here, if Cameron Dowds is able to get close enough, obviously.
He should be able to.
And not exactly
DRS even now to help him at the moment.
As long as he is able to avoid the auto spin curve that the leader, Ethan Fonseca, unfortunately hit and spun on last lap, they avoid it. And I would expect a bit of a melee going into turn 1 here. He's just about 5/10ths back, and that's about where it needs to be for them to go side by side into turn 1. He may gain a little bit through the toe down this straight before the DRS. And here we go, on board with the Alpine. We'll see how close he's able to get.
Close enough for it.
He's gaining, not using his ERS, saving it. Neither is Lee Kelly, and he is not going to get it on this straight at least, but he gets very close. Lee Kelly gets a better exit though, and that's going to help him out down this second straight. And it looks like Cameron Dowds will once again not be close enough to take the position. So I guess this would be a little bit more of your expertise. When should we expect some of the soft tire runners to start heading into the pits?
Somewhere between now and lap 12, because they can only go 12 without like risking a puncture, and obviously nobody wants that.
Yeah. As you said that, the AlphaTauri of Matthew Stotts picks up his first penalty. Take a look at the penalty situation. He has 3 seconds. The Ferrari of Luke Treelor has 3 seconds, and we saw the Williams earlier get that 10-second penalty, but as you mentioned, he is most likely going to get that removed. So not even going to worry about it. So here we go. Liam Craig is getting very close to Mikey DeJong here, looking to get into this top 3 on his medium tires. He is possibly the strongest car on track, and here we go as the 3 leaders are going. Oh no! Mikey DeJong fakes going into the pits. Maybe trying to get the man.
Just defense.
Possibly there. It looked like he was going to the pits, but it was more than likely, like you said, defense more than anything. But Liam takes now provisional lead in the race. If he's able to outrun the guys who just pit on their outlaps, then he may be able to take the lead. He was not that far behind them when they went into the pits. And he will hang on to the lead from Mikey DeJong for the time being.
He was definitely running them before, so I see no reason why he couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Or, like, continue.
The mystery Alfa Romeo driver actually is up into 3rd place now. Fantastic, 10 positions up. Obviously, there were drivers who have pit already, so he is benefiting from that a little bit. But he is only just about 2 seconds off of Liam Craig, who is currently in provisional 1st place. So he can't be that far off from the leaders.
I'd say he'd be provisionally like 6th, 7th right now.
About that, and you know, with
but
him being,
he'd still be behind Lee Kelly, Cameron Dowds, and De Jong. Or no, De Jong's still there. Those two, and probably still be behind Congdon, provisionally.
And I'm noticing now the mystery Alfa Romeo driver. Not only do we not know his name, but he's not wearing a helmet on my screen. I'm surprised the FIA let him do that. I've had that glitch before. It's still funny every time I see it, just to see a driver without a helmet driving around a track like that. As we see Mikey De Jong go into the pits a lap behind the leader, so we'll see if he's able to get out in front of them, if he had a good enough lap or not. We will get on board with Lee Kelly, and it looks like he is absolutely going to be overtaken by these leaders. So, Lee Kelly under pressure from Cameron Dowds now. Dowds looking to the inside, and they will go side by side to turn 1. Kelly leaving not very much space. Dowds hops over the curb just a little bit and loses some time, and that will probably be enough space for Lee Kelly to hang on to the position one more time down the straight.
Matthew Stotts is kind of entering the picture based on weird pit cycle things because he had to pit so long ago.
And we have a spinning Red Bull. I'm trying to figure out who that was, and it looks like it is not Ethan Fonseca, that is Gabe Cazzola. So he is struggling now, or it has been struggling for a while actually. I believe that's his 2nd spin of the race. We have a flag in Sector 2.
Matthew Stotts was around, he lost places from that.
So we've seen a lot of spins, and we did make the prediction that there was going to be a safety car. We haven't seen one yet, but that doesn't mean we won't. As I'm on board with Gabe Cazzola, he almost lost the car right there. That could have been one. So the gap's starting to form, but here in 6th, 7th, and 8th, we have 3 drivers who are basically touching each other at this point, going down the final stretch. Keep an eye on this one, as this is a
also realize this is like, you know, like net P5, I think this is for.
Yeah, Mikey De Jong is getting held up just a little bit in this battle.
Francis Varann's a bystander here, no DRS. He's not like provisionally with this crew either.
Yeah, he had no chance of keeping up. Hang on, pretty much. Keep the lap times up. Mikey De Jong hangs on to 6th place, but he will be under pressure yet again going down this straight. They will go side by side, but oh no, not side by side. However, he goes just a little bit deep. The Williams is going to try a cutback, but it doesn't look like he got enough of grip, so he will not be able to make the pass. We got Ethan Fonseca. Looks like he may have lost some positions there. I'm not sure what that was from. He's down into 12th place. Also picked up a penalty in the going of that. So his first penalty of the day. He dives down the inside of the Ferrari. Not able to get the position.
What are you doing there?
Yeah.
I think that was like a I'm going to try it and I don't know if it's going to work type of thing.
Yeah, the contact between the Ferrari and the pass ahead of him, that may give him a little bit of a chance here, but down this straight, not much he can do, at least for the time being. Maybe looking to get close enough to make a pass on the front stretch.
As the mystery Alfa Romeo driver reports to the pit lane, Liam Angelo does not do so.
Liam continuing to stay on those medium tires. I mean, they're working for him, as the mystery Alfa Romeo driver will go into hard tires, cementing his one stop. We'll see where he comes out, as Mikey De Jong sets the fastest lap of the race on medium tires. And here is the Alfa Romeo driver coming out into 7th place, as you mentioned earlier, so good predictions right there.
Yeah, I forgot about Tristan Adams. That was the one car I didn't account for being there.
So Cameron Dowd still breathing down the neck of Lee Kelly. They have been basically glued to each other almost this entire race, even after pit stop. So they are very clearly two of the faster drivers on the circuit. Lee Kelly is 18.6 seconds behind Liam Craig, so Craig, I believe the time loss is about 24 seconds for a pit stop, so he would still lose out a few positions in that case. And it looks like Lee Kelly is picking up time, so Liam Craig at any second now is likely to come into the pits. Just about halfway through this race. He is not going to pit just yet. We have a battle between Luke Traylor and a Haas, and they are getting really close to each other. Luke Traylor almost touching the auto spin curb. Would have been dangerous for both drivers there, but luckily they're both able to make it through. They're battling for this one final championship point here in round 1 in Sakir. We are officially just about halfway through the race now. Still no safety car as we predicted earlier, but we still have, as I mentioned, much of the race left to go, and I would not be at all be surprised to see
there.
one. Yeah.
Oh boy, it's 3 wide back here for 10th.
Oh my goodness, it is.
Getting some weird shuffleboard going on, and
oh, it has its fun.
Christian Pacheco has slid up into that Ferrari. One moved down, the other one moved up at the same time, and then that Ferrari goes and wheel bashes the Red Bull. I don't really know if that pass was the cleanest thing I've ever witnessed, to say the least.
Well, at the moment he is ahead on track. We may see that move in the reports. And the Red Bull giving the favor back, diving down the inside. And
oh, this is a NASCAR driver, so he's also one of the NASCAR guys. A few of these drivers are. Actually, everybody except for Luke Traylor outside of the top 8 right now is NASCAR? In NASCAR. Matthew Stott's the leader of the NASCAR crew, so everybody that's below 8th is in NASCAR, and everybody that's not isn't. And then there's me, who's not on the track at all, but I'm in NASCAR.
Hey, and there's me. I don't know. I can't remember how many of these guys, if I raced with any of them in IndyCar, but I am in the IndyCar League as well. We don't stream that, but you should check it out on Twitter, because there are some stuff that gets posted on the ARC Twitter, and it's pretty good.
I signed up for that. I just didn't do it because I just wasn't really in a mood to race.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's on Project Cars 2, and it's the first time I've ever done a league race not in this game. So it's been an interesting learning curve for me.
It's a learning curve, yeah, definitely on that game above anywhere else.
Yeah. Not to mention I'm racing on controller as well, so it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world.
Not impossible is Jonathan Parker gets incredibly loose through 8. And hey, it's not unworkable. I've got 2 GTE championships on controller. So
there you go. Right, Liam Craig's still out on those old medium tires. I'm actually kind of surprised he has not come in yet.
You seriously think he's trying to get to the point where he could put on soft tires?
Oh, no, he is deciding right now he's going to go into the pits. Unless he wants to go 13 laps on those softs, he's probably going to end up going onto hard tires. Oh, no, he is going onto soft tires, so he is going an aggressive strategy here.
Maybe he's thinking there'll be a safety car.
I'd have to think that is the thought process, because I don't think those soft tires are going to be able to last 13 laps like he may think they will. He is down into 3rd place. Getting past now, he is down into 6th, and he's now down into 7th. So the mystery Alfa Romeo driver jumps Liam through the pit stops. He will, however, be under pressure as while the Alfa Romeo is on hard tires, Liam is coming out onto fresh soft tires and will be extremely quick compared to the rest of this field. We'll see if he's able to get those tires to the end, however. Charlie Congdon and Mikey DeJong, however, are battling going into turn 3. They are still side by side, but looks like the Ferrari will back out, thinking smarter about his decision to try and go side by side through these corners. You know, in my commentating career, I've seen a lot of drivers try and go side by side through turn 6, 7, and 8 complex here at this track, and it almost never goes the way they think it will.
Oh, it worked earlier.
It did work earlier, yes. However,
grand total of once.
Grand
somebody
total
also did an F2.
Oh, well.
Ethan Fonseca coming up to Francis Ferran. This is for P8. They head towards turn 11.
But he will make the move down the inside. That was a pretty clean move right there. have to say.
Based on the ERS value, I don't think Francis really contested that a whole lot, though.
No, he didn't, which definitely helped Ethan, obviously, but it still had to make the move, and the move is done, at least for the time being. The McLaren does seem to have some decent straight line speed compared to Ethan Fonseca, so that will not help once the DRS is deployed. Liam and the Alfa Romeo.
Liam Angelo goes around the mystery Alfa Romeo driver. The Alfa Romeo driver not resisting that either because, well, he's on a different strategy altogether.
Yeah, no real need to battle him right there. As we see a flurry of drivers shaking around, or twisting and turning around that straight.
And Mikey versus Charlie, and then we had this weird... Where'd that Ferrari come from? Oh my god! Francis versus Ethan, but on the exit, that Ferrari of Luke Treelor just was like, hey, I'll take that, and just mugged the pair of them.
Charlie Congdon now lost the position. Lost the position to Liam there going into... Oh, contact between Liam and Mikey de Jong. De Jong pushed wide just a little bit, and Liam is now going to be side by side. And we'll have DRS and will likely take the position.
He gave him the bump and run. Liam should be in NASCAR.
the Dale Earnhardt style bump and run there, taking the position. It's not necessarily something you see a lot of in F1, as you mentioned a lot more in NASCAR, but it was done right there. And it was done fairly decently, as he is very clearly the fastest driver on the circuit at the moment on those tires. But that's not necessarily the issue. The issue is more that he needs to make those tires last, which I believe both of us at this point have decided he's probably not going to be able to do that.
He can certainly try, and it'll be comedic when he doesn't, but...
There he goes with the fastest lap of 127.8. His first full lap on those soft tires. He's now just 3 seconds behind the leader.
Fastest lap, despite having to overtake numerous cars.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll likely see him do it again here on this lap. Flag in Sector 1.
Congdon is around in 3. Can't be sure if he accelerated too early, as that's an unusual rejoin. I don't really know if I agree with that.
Yeah, he probably should have waited just a little bit. It could have cost his teammate there dearly, as Luke Treelor is battling with Ethan Fonseca still.
And just withstand against the McLaren that came up behind him after that, but... Yeah. Unsure if that was a throttle pivot or if that was collision that has caused that to befall Charlie, but... Well, I'm sure I will know as a steward that'll look at the inevitable clip that comes in if he was collided with.
Mm-hmm. William Craig has already taken out a second and a half in this lap alone from the leaders, and it's still going down as we speak. He may actually get DRS down this front stretch if he gets a good enough final corner. Oh no, never mind.
No.
He needs to get through the DRS, so he will not get it on this lap, on this straight at least. Maybe the next one if he's able to be quick enough through those corners, but yeah, he is attempting to catch us. We have just about
DRS
10.
is going to kind of work to prevent that.
Oh yes, I see.
Mystery Alfa Romeo driver makes up another place on Tristan Adams.
He's looking really strong with those hard tires. And you know, his strategy seems to be, he's the only one I believe that is on the strategy that he's on, aside from the Red Bull down in 15th place of Gabe Cazzola, who has struggled mightily in this one, multiple spins already. So as there's Luke Treelor picking up a penalty. We'll take a look at the penalty situation now to update you guys. Luke Treelor with 9 seconds of penalties, 3 seconds for Ethan Fonseca, and then down there in 13th through 16th we have some penalties. As there we go, as I'm looking at it, Charlie Congdon, the other Ferrari, picks up his first penalty.
Did someone say penalty?
Oh, and as I'm talking about as well, Liam Craig is already on the back of Cameron Dowds, pressuring these leaders. Oh, and we have an AlphaTauri who has lost it out of the race, retired in the pits. Okay.
He has lost it, retired in the pits.
I get a little bit too excited. I see someone go out of the race. I'm like, oh, what happened? But you know, gotta look first. Gotta look first.
Drama. Like the One Square meme.
So here we go down this front stretch. We are going to have a 3-car battle going into turn 1. This is going to be exciting. Oh my
you just went
goodness!
there. You went there. Oh,
He has
my good lord.
pulled off the move down the inside. 2 positions gained there for Liam Craig. Unbelievable overtake right there, I gotta say. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's not something that that's not something I'd have even thought of doing. I might have tried going to the left, but I don't know if I'd have tried going down there.
Yeah, that was almost dangerous driving, but he was able to pull it off. So they'll consider it fair for now. But now at this point,
it was also weird because I saw Dowds was letting off. He didn't want to go around Lee Kelly, and I'm not sure if that's because he was like wanting to continue just using DRS trains to stick around and hold DRS, or if he was just like, was he trying to block Liam off? I have no idea.
I think maybe he was thinking he saw those two on the inside and thought it wasn't worth it to go in there 3 wide and possibly get caught up in a collision.
He did anyway, though. That was inevitable at that point.
Yeah. Ethan Fonseca.
I just watched Tree War versus Fonseca through the entirety of Sector 2. They kept it clean through like 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Oh. It's been a big, strong battle between these guys. They've been next to each other for the last few laps, just changing positions ever so slightly every lap.
Crabtree picks himself up a penalty. Oh goodness me. As Treelor slams the brakes to get DRS, honestly, can we put a rule against that? That's just stupid.
Yeah, I'm definitely someone that does not agree with intentionally
slowing down. They did that in like the Pro Esports Invitationals thing. I just thought that was the stupidest thing ever. So that doesn't work in real life. That's just Codemasters' oversights.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the game needs to fix, because it's unfortunate that it works as well as it does, because it invites people to try it more and more.
And just slam the brakes on a straightaway. There's definitely no safety hazard regarding that at all.
Yeah, none at all.
The world's fastest OSHA violation.
So, the Ferrari's now battling, as it looks like Luke Treelor has given the position to his teammate, possibly seeing his teammate is faster and just not wanting to attack. Also, I believe he's on 9 seconds of penalties as opposed to his teammate's 3, so no rule needs to slow your teammate down when you're going to finish behind him anyways. So we are on lap 22 of 29, about to get to 23 of 29, and this is about the time where we're going to have to start keeping track of Liam Craig's lap times. As I would not at all be shocked if his times start to go down. He is 5 laps into these soft tires. That's about the time when they start to fall off just a little bit, not aggressively at the moment, but he may start to notice that he's not getting as much grip as he was at the start of his stint.
At this point, I think they'll be about 32% wear.
Yeah, once he gets to about 50,
more.
Once he gets to about 50 is when the tires start to really fall off in terms of pace, and then you get to 75%, which is when the potential punctures start to happen. As Williams there picking up a penalty. That'll be Tristan Adams picking up his first penalty. Still all of those in the top 5 without a penalty. Oh, and Liam Craig goes wide there coming out of turn 11. He may have actually gained some time with that, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's like he picked up a 10th or 2 from that. I'm not really sure if that's really on there. Well, it's like Cameron Dowd's actually starting to lose pace with Lee Kelly.
Yeah, Lee Kelly
as soon as Lee Kelly gained DRS privileges, Cameron Dowds has begun to struggle.
Yeah, it's definitely noticeable, and Lee Kelly is just about hanging with Liam Craig at the moment, staying enough or close enough to be able to keep with his DRS. So I think that's probably just his plan for the rest of this race. Stick in the DRS until Kelly's tires start to degrade to the point where he can make a move. It's about 4/10 back as there is a flag in Sector 1. That's going to be the Red Bull off. That is Gabe Cazzola, I believe, not necessarily going off, but he did that on his own to make sure that he got out of the way of the leaders. Good job by him, I should say, of getting out of the way instead of blocking people. I actually commentated on a league race yesterday for a league called the F1 Republic, where we had first and second battling on track in Imola, and it turns out that there was a lapped car that was in a party with the guy in first place, and after he let the guy in first place through, he intentionally blocked the man in second place, so much so that they ended up both spinning, and the guy in second finished 11th in the race.
Oh my god.
So, glad to see that that's not happening in this league.
No, not in AF1. Something like that's happened in NASCAR a couple of times, but not here.
That's good to see. Lee Kelly is 7/10 behind Liam Craig. At this point in the lap last time, he was 9/10 behind, so he's definitely at least holding on, if not catching up just slightly. And he has about a 20% ERS advantage at the moment over Liam Kelly's, or Liam Craig, excuse me.
Liam Kelly made the fusion dance. Oh god.
So he has DRS down this straight. No ERS being used at the moment by either of them. Craig picking the outside. Kelly not deciding to make the move yet. Didn't get a very good exit out of 1 or 2, so he is probably going to have to stick with second place for yet another lap. These drivers are coming up, I believe, on a lapped car.
That's AJ next.
AJ, who started pretty high up but spun early on and has had to now just kind of run his own race, hoping that there was going to be a safety car, which ended up not coming. I believe at this point we are likely to not see a safety car anymore.
Yeah, if somebody was gonna buy the farm, they'd have done it already.
Yeah. So Lee Kelly is getting really close now to Liam Craig. I'm wondering if Craig's tires have bitten the bullet already, as he is really struggling through Sector 2.
Yeah, they'd be at about 44-45% right about now.
If he gets lucky, he may be able to get DRS off of AJ Nickel down the front stretch, unless Nickel decides to get out of the way before the DRS straight. Nickel weaving aggressively to break the toe. Craig trying to get the toe, but in doing so gave himself a bad exit, and now it looks like Lee Kelly's going to be right on the back of him. Would absolutely expect...
He did that to get DRS off AJ, that's what he was doing that for.
Oh, I see. So both of them do have DRS.
Saved his bacon for this lap.
At least down this straight. He will not have it for the next straight. Well, that will be where the pressure is put. Although it looks like, once again, Lee Kelly not able to get the traction out of that corner like Liam Craig has been able to. So if he's going to make a pass, it's probably going to be on the front stretch. So we can just take down one more lap. We have just about 3.5 laps left of racing here in round 1.
No, the closest battle is for no points between Francis and Christian for P11.
We'll pay attention
to
to that.
That's for pride at that point. Yeah,
you know, and at least for me, even if I'm not in the points positions, if there's someone on track who's willing to battle me, I enjoy a good battle, so might as well. Especially if you're not fighting for points. Yeah, the field has spread out quite a bit now, aside from the leaders. Also have the mystery Alfa Romeo driver defending from Tristan Adams in the Williams. But yeah, I think a little bit of an early prediction, but I have to assume my driver of the day is either going to be Liam Craig or the mystery Alfa Romeo driver, both of them gaining 8 positions in this race. They were both medium tire runners, the mystery Alfa Romeo starting outside the top 10, Liam Craig qualifying inside the top 10 on those mediums. Lee Kelly getting a decent exit coming out of turn 1 this time, so maybe he'll have a chance, but it looks like he's just, once again, a little bit too far back. Not quite able to make the move. Liam Craig doing exactly what he needs to do at this point in the race to keep himself ahead.
Oh no, I know what this is. Lee Kelly could have made the pass by now. He doesn't want to make it yet.
That's
he likes
probably
to wait
true.
until the literal last lap. It's very optimal for winning the race, but it can sometimes make it kind of lame for a live stream.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It ticks me off.
Well, he will have DRS going down the straight. We'll see how close he's able to get. Definitely not close enough to pass, but hopefully close enough to maybe make a pass down the front stretch if he decides to do that.
Probably not.
So So we are coming up on the penultimate lap of this race. It's been a pretty good race so far. We've seen a lot of great battles up and down the gaff, as British people would say, I think.
I think.
I don't know. They say weird
Banter.
words. I don't know, man. Here we go. As Lee Kelly.
Yeah, Lee
he's
Kelly's
deciding...
not even on DRS. He just does not want to. He's not putting his card on the table yet.
So we'll likely see an epic battle going into that turn 1 in this next lap. But for now, we have to wait just about a minute and a half before we get to see that.
We have to have the filler episodes where we can have the big climax episode.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're getting a little spicy. It's going to be the Mystery Alfa Romeo driver versus De Jong into turn 4.
Oh, battling for 4th place. They are side by side, very close. Just a little bit of contact made. The Alpine barely staying on the track. Mikey De Jong trying to hang
and
on.
keep it there. He's forcing that Alfa onto the curb. The Alfa, no, you can't try it because the Alpine is taking up the whole racetrack in front of him.
Yeah, that is great defending. As we said earlier, Mikey De Jong was defending pretty well to keep position. He's doing it right there once again, putting the cart right in the middle of the track, and he is looking like a tough cookie to get around.
The Alfa Romeo driver can have another try into T11. De Jong defends inside, and that will probably be the key to success there.
Jump there. So here we go. Lee Kelly. As we enter...
Cameron Dowds has snuck his way back into the picture, but he has no ERS to really use here, so... Barring a crash, I don't think he will be involved in this whatsoever.
Craig dives down to the inside to avoid, but I don't think he has much of a choice here, as Lee Kelly is going to take the lead on the last lap of the race. We'll see if he's able to hang on to it, though, as Craig will likely have DRS going down this second straight. He has generally had better traction coming out of the turn 1 and turn 2, but it looks like Lee Kelly may have just enough of a gap to hang on, and he will take the lead into turn 3. And as long as he's able to keep the car somewhat on the track, he will be able to win this race, as AJ Nickel in 14th down there picks up the fastest lap. He won't get that point, but he's taking it away from someone. So
that somebody was Liam.
Oh, well, unfortunately for Liam, he lost the lead and the fastest lap in the same in the same lap. So down.
That's not close enough for a pass into 11, so I think that's Lee Kelly's win, as anticipated, I suppose.
And there's Ethan Pacheco there, going off track, falling down. Oh no, excuse me. Ethan Fonseca. I don't know how I keep doing that, man.
Stop! They're not. This isn't. They're not doing fusion dances. Have Liam Kelly. Now we have Christian Fonseca.
Well, coming out of the last corner, we do have Lee Kelly winning the first race of the season, followed by Liam Craig, and then Cameron Dowds finishing out the podium. Those guys were easily the fastest 3 on the track, finishing just outside of a second from each other. Oh, Mikey De Jong taking... Or, no, excuse me.
No, the time
Alfa Romeo took 4th place. Mikey De Jong is going to finish in 5th. Tristan Adams finishing in 6th. In the Williams, we have Luke Treelor in 7th, followed by... Or, no, excuse me, with penalties, Charlie Congdon will finish in 7th. Ethan...
Fonseca.
I was gonna say I had it right. It took me a second there, but I got it. There we go. Luke Treelor is gonna finish in 9th, and then rounding out the top 10 is the Haas of Jonathan Parker. So those are your point scorers in this one. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. How about you, Raker?
Certainly makes up for F2's travesty. Travesty. My brain combined travesty and tragedy.
Well, it was probably a little bit of both. So.
Oh yeah, it was both.
So maybe we'll put that one in the dictionary. Driver of the day, at least the game has decided it is the Mystery Alfa Romeo driver. We still don't know his name yet, but he had a great race.
I would probably also vote him, considering, well, on top of the fact that he gained 9 places at the end of the race. Also just the meme of the Mystery Alfa Romeo driver with no helmet.
Well, he didn't have a name, didn't have a helmet, but he does have 4th place in the championship. The podiums celebration, always a fun one, as we have 2 Devin Butlers up there.
That seems about right.
Seems about right. And Yarna Hotbier in 3rd place. I didn't see that until just now.
Goodness.
Goodness me.
They're multiplying.
Alright, well here is your final grid. Lee Kelly in the Aston Martin taking the victory, followed by Liam Craig in the Mercedes, and Cameron Dowds filling out the podium. And we have Mystery Alfa Romeo driver without a helmet finishing in 4th, Mikey De Jong in 5th, Tristan Adams in 6th, Charlie Congdon in 7th, Ethan Fonseca in 8th, Luke Treelor in 9th, Jonathan Parker in 10th, Christian Pacheco in 11th. Then we have McLaren, Francis Farrand, I think that's how you say it? Farrand, thank you. Tyler Crabtree in 13th, AJ Nickel in 14th. Knickel, excuse me.
K is actually pronounced for some reason.
Ah, okay. I thought you were actually just like messing with him when you were saying it like that. I didn't know that was his actual name.
No.
Okay, AJ Knickel in 14th, and then we have Gabe Cazzola in 15th in the Red Bull, and then both of the AlphaTauri drivers who did not finish this race, finishing in 16th and 17th. So there we are. That was a fun round 1. Thank you for joining me, Riker. That will be all from us at AF1, and we hope you will join us next week, same time for round 2.